The second one is to create an atmosphere of love and acceptance. That one struck me several years ago. The first time when a family that had been coming to our camp for a few years, they didn't go to our church. They lived in the neighborhood across the street from our church, and they sent their kids to our camp. And I was talking to the mom before camp, and she recounted this story to me that she was talking to her son about, well, you have to make a choice. You can either go to Grace Camp or you can go to baseball camp. And he said, Mom, I've got to go to Grace Camp because, and she was like, well, why do you want to go to Grace Camp and not baseball camp? And he said, because they love me there. And it's part of our mission statement. It's part of everything that we do is to create that atmosphere of love and acceptance that kids want to come back. And that's, I think, part of the reason that kids do come back. And we even had, this past summer, I learned from a girl who was a counselor who had been coming to camp since she was about 7 years old.
Wow.
She was a CIT, but she doesn't go to our church. And she was invited to come to our camp the first year from somebody who used to go to our church, who was not going to our church at the time. And she told me last year that the reason that she came back to camp every year and wanted to be on staff now, and this year she'll be a counselor for the first time, was because the first year she came to camp, her friend that had invited her was sick and couldn't be there one day. And I just said, hey, why don't you come and help me pass out popsicles? And she felt loved and accepted and seen. And she's been coming back every year since, and she had never told me that. And that was just, but she felt what we were talking about, that just the love that was pouring out. That's what we want to be basically that statement of being Jesus with skin on. And that's what we want the kids to experience. And then when we invited the kids from Walton to come into our camp years ago, so many of them have such different life experiences than many of our counselors have. But they love coming to our camp because of that. It's not a freewheeling, no boundary, no rules, but they feel the love of their counselors. And some, even this past summer, one of our counselors every day at the end of the day was crying. She's like, this girl hates me. They hate me. They hate me. And at the end of the week, they all came up to her, and the ones that were giving her the hardest time just came up and hugged her and said, we love you. Thank you for loving us this week. And she was blown away. Kind of a clash of cultures, but they still feel the love that we've given to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something about love and acceptance that needs no translation. It's cross-cultural. Sometimes adults can pick up on when an environment doesn't have acceptance, but children really can. I mean, they can really detect if this is an environment where I'm loved, or if it's an environment where this place is just trying to do a program or accomplish something, a task. They don't really love me, and children just pick up on that. And I know it's marked and characterized the camp for 10 years now.
And when they have a counselor that's actually going to sit on the floor and play with them, or let them braid their hair, or sing songs with them, or just sit and talk to, because some kids that come to our camp, they just want somebody to talk to and just to be listened to. And that is an important factor that we have.
Yeah, that time
with our team, and I've been so pleased with that.
The time the counselors take to do those little small things throughout the day for those 5 days, it communicates love and acceptance. But beyond that, or along with that, it communicates value. You matter. You're important. And I guess that's why, the using of teenagers and building a team, you really can't do that effectively if you don't have enough volunteers. I mean, to have the time to even sit and listen and know some of the needs and the stories of each camper, it's really impossible to do that unless you can build this kind of team, both teens and adults.
Right. And that, like I said, with the 64 slots, that's two teenagers with every group. Ideally, we like 3, but but we can't always do that. So that's why our counselor team can be from 64 to closer to 75 to 80 at times, because some groups need 3 people with them. just so that that the kids can get that one-on-one or one-on-two interaction, or at least 2 or 3 times they get one-on-one interaction during the week with one person that many of them may not have in their life with a caring older person.